Today we're going to look at installing a Linux virtual machine onto a Windows host computer. This is an option for developer environments on systems that have multiple CPU cores and enough RAM and system resources to handle virtualization. This is not recommended for a test system, as virtual machines introduce extra variables like networking and device pass-through. With that said, let's get started. So first thing we're going to do here, we're going to go to VirtualBox and download the VirtualBox program. We'll have a link to this in the description. And give that a moment to download. And we'll click through the installation here. Default options are generally fine. It will give you that warning that you're going to temporarily lose network connection while it sets up new interfaces. So if you're in the middle of a large download, you might want to wait for that to finish. Continue through there. And then we'll give it a few minutes here to install VirtualBox. Windows will prompt access control, and then it'll start. Go ahead and install the device drivers. This is going to allow you to pass through USB devices. And then we'll finish the installation, let it automatically start up, and we're going to make a new machine. I'm going to call it Neon Test. Type is going to be Linux, and it's going to be an Ubuntu 64-bit machine. Next there. I'm going to give it 2 gigs of RAM. Actually, I've got a bunch on this system. I'll give it 4. I guess pay attention to the warnings that they give you and think about how much your base operating system is going to need before you just max out the amount of memory you give to your virtual machine. And then we're going to create a virtual hard disk. I like the VDI images. They scale automatically up to the maximum size when you select dynamically allocated here. Ubuntu, I like to give at least 20 gigabytes. And again, if you don't use it until you start reaching that higher storage amount, the actual image is going to start out pretty small. So we'll do that. I'm going to right click here, go to settings. I'm going to take a look, processor. I like to give it at least 2 cores if I can. Again, if you have multiple virtual machines, just think about leaving enough for your host machine, Windows. And I'm going to go down to storage. And this optical drive, I'm going to choose a disk file. If I go to my downloads, I downloaded Ubuntu 18.04.2. Okay there. And now we're going to start it up. And I'm going to put this in full screen mode, but you could leave it windowed if you prefer. And it'll take a moment here, but it's going to boot from that disk the same way it would if you were to boot a regular computer with a disk installed or with a USB key installed with the Ubuntu installer on it. And from here, it's going to be just a standard Ubuntu install. So select our language, English. I'm going to say install. That's the right keyboard layout in this case. Continue. I'm going to leave just a normal installation, and I'm going to do third-party software for drivers. It's a clean virtual disk, so there's no options for anything other than erase and install. So we'll do that. It's going to give us a summary of what's going to happen to the disk. That's fine, so we'll continue. Select our time zone. Select a name. Personally, I log in automatically for virtual machines since they're already secured by the host OS, but that is completely up to you. If you opted to automatically log in, then after installation is complete, you should have a screen like this. If not, you'll have a login screen, and after you log in, you'll be right here as well. So we're just going to click through this What's New in Ubuntu, opting out of sending information to Canonical. That's up to you. And we're done. So, like every other OS installation, after you're done installing, it's time to install updates. So Software Updater is going to automatically pop up. We'll say Install Now. And we'll give this a few moments to do. So now that updates are completed, we're going to do one more check just to make sure Ubuntu is fully up to date. If we go up to the top right hand corner, down to Settings, and then this is under Details. We'll click Check for Updates, and then refresh one more time. And we are fully up to date. So at this point, our Ubuntu system is up to date, and we are ready to continue to installing Neon. Thanks for watching this Neon AI tutorial. Be sure to head over to neongecko.com for more information, including a written transcript of this tutorial and any code snippets we may have used. See you next time.